I've had it. I think I'm actually finally freaking done. It's too big, it's too obnoxious, it's too hard to finish a campaign. If you've watched the channel for a while now, you know that I love Kingdom Death. But I'm at the point now where I might as well just let it go. Been waiting for years for upgrade packs and new kits to actually arrive, and at this point, I don't even know. I'm not even utilizing most of this gear, so I might as well just freaking destroy it and rip it up, right? That's all it's good for. If you're not playing it, why even bother? So, there you have it. This video isn't much of a conversation. Honestly, it's just me going through my Kingdom Death core box and ripping up some cards, just getting rid of some things along the way. Story in the Snow. Let's go ahead and cycle that out of here. Actually feels good. It's a little, feels appropriate for something that I've spent so long not winning. Just constantly. I'm not going to let this one get through. Hello, and welcome to Quackalope. If you're freaking out and typing on your computer right now, because I really am destroying Kingdom Death components, I think some of you already know why. I just got in the 1.6 upgrade legendary card pack, and I'm not going to go through everything, but I'm going to talk about the major changes and let you know why it's okay that I just tore up about half of the settlement locations in this game, and honestly, I could have pulled way more of the random resources. Let's go ahead and dive into this. Now, in case you're curious, 1.5, which was the current version of Kingdom Death, has been updated, and currently you either need a expansion pack or an update pack, or you need to go ahead and order and pre-order 1.6. So everything that's being changed is bringing us up to current terms, and then the new print run is going to be up to standards or up to where this level is bringing you. So this is relevant for any of you that have 1.5 and are playing an old copy, because there's been a lot of balance changes and tweaks, and then this is also relevant for any of you who are getting 1.6, because this is going to be the new foundation for how you're playing the game. There's been a lot of community nerfs and buffs, things that people have talked about quite a bit, and there's a whole packet of cards in here. So let's quickly go through them. I'll talk about the things I'll know, I'll describe, and try to discuss why some of these changes have been made. And don't worry, the torn up pieces of Kingdom Death, they're replaced in this box. So in here, we're going to have a stack of brand new gear and item cards, along with a few brand new ones, making scrap a little bit more of a useful resource instead of the thing that you just willingly discard. There's actually a scrap rebar, which I think sounds pretty cool. We have the 1.6 update booklet here, which we'll go through. And then we have two of our little story event cards, one of which is Story in the Snow. These are going to be promo cards that came in other packs that you're actually going to be getting into the core box now. One of those things, the community was a little bit frustrated that there was so many like one-off cards sold in expansion packs, and so this is a legendary card pack that's bringing all of those things over into the core box. And we have a sticker sheet, which is fascinating to me. We're going to be updating some of the rules and language in the actual rule book. I'm terrified of stickers. I'm going to have Shira do this. But yeah, not major changes, not a ton of changes, but enough to definitely impact the way your campaign is experienced when you play. So, some of the major changes. The first major changes are going to start here at these locations. All the spots I just ripped up. You're going to be able to get to some of these building locations a lot faster. You're going to be able to utilize some of your items and resources a lot cleaner. You won't need as many of your innovations, which are kind of the technology of your settlement, in order to craft some things. And so flipping through here, I know some of the locations have been changed quite a bit as well, like Blue and Green Charm, Bug Trap, Scavenger Chip. And I don't have the, I should have saved these to compare, but I know a lot of people have already done that. So I'll just float through them right here. Organ Grinder is still going to allow you to use your augury. Cycling through, this is going to have added the Finger of God and the Rainbow Katana, which is super prominent. It's also going to be reorganizing some of the things that you're going to be able to build here. Over here on the stone circle, you're actually going to get this, I believe, from hunting the antelope now. Instead of, like you get the white lion or the caterium, you're going to be able to get this a little bit easier instead of having to pay such a high cost to unlock this location. And here, you're going to have a few things reworked. Specifically, there's probably going to be some elements that involve some new items that you're actually able to find. Moving on, we have the weapon crafter. This is going to be updated as well. In here, is this where the rebarb is? Yeah, scrap rebarb, scrap sword, scrap dagger, scrap bone spear. This is where all your scraps can be utilized, which is really, really valuable now, as opposed to something that, like I said, you just kind of want to throw away. You also have the scrap scavenge ability, which is going to let you start generating scrap that you're going to be utilizing there. Here we have a perfect slayer, which we need a perfect crucible for. I know lanterns have also been majorly reworked in this, so some of your late game or end game things make items that didn't have the lantern keyword have them now, make the halberd and stuff like that actually prominent and useful instead of just things that clunkily take up your settlement survivor sheet. So let's see here. This guide is intended for you to use in 1.5 edition of Kingdom Death Monster to upgrade. Follow the instructions. Note, contains revised versions of cards found in both the core game and the expansions. We're going to be replacing all of these locations, which just shows the cards that you're replacing, the core game contents, the expansions that are being updated. Interesting. Interesting little book. Okay, so we have that. Let's go through the stickers that we have here. Traps have been updated to specify what it means when you actually are attacking. If you're attacking, you're not doomed. Attacking survivors are just in a vulnerable state because they're the attacker. They're not specifically doomed. Rewards over here is going to be updated for the stone circle location. This is where the antelope, once you defeat the antelope, you're going to be able to get the stone circle specifically, which is super nice. We have the aftermath of, this might be the lonely tree, which is going to have a lot of lonely fruit and nightmare fruit updates on it, which is a keyword that just wasn't used well in the original. We have wares for trade. This is going to be the white speaker update sheet. Tatted Parcel is going to deal with the Twilight Sword and the way that narrative is worked throughout the course of the game. And then we have two characters here which have completely changed their sort of main build. I don't know what this one is, but this one's going to be the Lonely Tree. It had a lot of nerf and debuffs. The antelope's become a prominent thing that you actually are going to want to hunt as well. Where's my knife? Okay, so the two promo cards we have here is the Dark Seamstress and Story in the Snow. I'm not sure if they're reworked or just included as promos. I didn't actually take a close look at that. I believe they're just included as promos. Some of the text and wording here is just all that's being changed. White Lion Club is specifically going to trigger the fight immediately instead of delaying for a little bit of time. Teething here is going to make it a little bit harder to find a large flat tooth, I believe. Not entirely sure. We have 3 new items that are going to be shuffled into the basic resources: a perfect bone, perfect organ, and perfect hide. My assumption is we're going to need these for some things down the road. Lonely Tree, like I said, got a lot of changes and shifts. Verminous Session specifically got the keyword bug patch instead of bug spot on it. Resin Ball, Prepared Tunnels, this can be for the Dung Beetle Knight. Villain roll card. Gnarled Horns is going to be a hit location, which is now changed. I believe the term, I believe the Ruined Horns term is what we're looking for. Because before it was like Broken Crown or something, which didn't trigger anything, didn't debuff anything. Life String, Screaming Armor is now only going to add 1 doll hit locations instead of 2, so it's not quite as good. The Antelope's been debuffed a little bit, which makes the Phoenix arguably a worthwhile fight. And then the Tyrant and the Lonely Tree, of course, have been shifted and adjusted a little bit. So those are the core cards we have. I want to take a look at some of these items and gear cards. And then we'll call this a video. Leave a comment down below if I freaked you out with ripping up some of those cards at the very beginning. I thought it'd be fun to do, and honestly, you don't want to keep them because you have the option of, or the likelihood of getting them remixed back in or having too many of one card. It's best to destroy or put them in a pouch and mail them off or something like that. So here, some of the changes. We're going to have Screaming Bracers, Screaming Skirt, armor's dropping just a bit on some of these, along with some of the keywords. Screaming Horns has a change. Elder Earrings, Brain Mint, Scrap Rebarb is going to be the new item. And on some of these, I wonder if it's here yet. No. Scrap Rebarb is going to be the new item. This weapon to the left loses frail and gains unwieldy. If you attempt to wound a super dense location with this weapon, archive this card at the end of the attack. Nice. So this is just a giant metal pipe that gives you a bit of a buff. Scrap Bone Spear. Now, the cool thing is they've added a term called barbed. Barb is going to replace the idea of a perfect hit. Usually on a perfect hit, your spear would sharpen, and then you do a certain amount of additional damage. Barbed supplements that because it was used throughout everything. So a lot of these cards are just updating that status effect. Barbed now means that. It now means sharpened. So Barbed 4 means that on a perfect hit, you're going to be doing 4 strength or 4 additional strength on that sharpened or protruding weapon. Lanterns. Now the big thing with the lanterns, even though I haven't played much in Endgame, lanterns for a long time became a thing that you have to have in your gear grid really to play the game, but they start being cumbersome. They just take up space. So we've changed that. We've added some status effects, we've added some abilities, we've made some weapons and things like that a little bit more usable. So Final Lantern, cloth leggings, hard breastplate, the green charm. Charms are going to be changed quite a bit as well, which is really nice because they're going to be a lot more attractive to start using. Polishing Lantern is going to be a new lantern, I believe, that you can utilize. Oxidized Lantern Glaive now has the lantern keyword, I believe. Does it? It does not. Oh, it has the barbed keyword. Vespertine Bow is going to have range 5, deadly. I'm not sure what changed on this. Probably just a single stat here or there. Monster Grease is now going to be flammable, which is either good or terrifying. Considering that this update is also preparing for the Gambler's Chest to arrive, I'm assuming Gambler's Chest is going to do things like set your survivors on fire. Don't love the idea that you're now covering yourself in grease that's flammable. Blood Sheath is going to have some changes to it. Finger of God is going to have some buffs allowed to it. Hollow Sword, Rainbow Katana, Sonic Tomahawk. I mean, they really are trying to make the Phoenix something that you're looking at getting. Speed Power is now going to have some words changed in the description. And the last, the Rare Gear pack here, which is actually going to have some of our promo cards as well. Scrap Lantern now has the lantern terminology on it. It's something you can build. Counterweighted Axe is going to believe it have a change on the status of the way that it connects. Scrap Sword is going to be something that you might want to explore and build. Scrap Dagger is really exciting because it's going to have Barbed 2, which is great. Blue Lantern got a change. Dormant Twilight Cloak, Bloodskin, Speaker Cult Knife, Lantern Brazier, Rawhide Corset, Teeth Bikini. All of these are promo cards that came from other expansions. And then we have the Steel Sword and the Lantern Halberd. Lantern Halberd is the one that now has the Lantern keyword, which is nice to have because it makes it as a useful item instead of something that like you really think should have the Lantern keyword and didn't, which was bothersome. So that's the major changes. We have a few new organizing cards, but outside of that, the biggest takeaway, the biggest thing that I'm seeing is we got some terms that have been corrected, and really the biggest balance tweaks have been to the Lonely Tree, the Phoenix, and the Antelope, primarily making it so the Phoenix and the Antelope are more interchangeable, more of a debate as to which one you want to dive down and explore. Debuffed the Antelope a little bit and rebuffed the Phoenix, and yeah, we have our game. I'm excited. I'm glad some of the gear that I haven't really played with or explored is becoming a little bit more accessible and a little bit easier to utilize and get access to. Whatever the case, thanks for watching, and I'm going to get back to installing and tearing up some cards. Let's just hope I picked the right cards before I did that. Oh, this has a nice little strip of plastic on the outside. Cool. Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some games. We'll see you next time. Thank you.